everybody. As you all know, it's in the middle of the holiday season now. Thanksgiving is tomorrow, Hanukkah's today, Christmas is not even a month away at this point. And so, since we're now in the middle of the holiday season, we're probably going to hear the same old controversy that we've been hearing over and over and over again, which is all about whether or not people who celebrate Christmas have to say Merry Christmas, or is it okay to say Happy Holidays? Should a neighborhood have a holiday tree or a Christmas tree? Should the school be putting on a winter play or a Christmas play or a winter concert as opposed to a Christmas concert? And for some reason, this seems to be the overriding argument every single holiday season, every single year. And so that kind of got me wondering, why does it actually all matter so much? And then I thought about it a little more, and I thought, actually, I think people who celebrate Christmas should be saying Happy Holidays. And part of that is because, really, Christmas is not actually the most important holiday. If you're a Christian, you may think it is, but actually it's not. In fact, it's sort of like the Purim or the Hanukkah of Christianity. Like, it doesn't actually matter. It's just something nice to celebrate. For starters, we all celebrate Christmas, or those who celebrate Christmas do it, because it's supposed to be the birthday of Jesus, right? He was born on December 25th, 2013 years ago. Except that's not actually what happened. The Bible, first of all, never says when Jesus was born. It doesn't give a specific date. It doesn't even give a specific year, and even though it does say the two Gospels that mention a birth narrative, Matthew and Luke, they do have the accounts that talk about the birth of Jesus, but they give conflicting accounts as to what was happening at the same time that Jesus was born. So we can't actually know for sure what year he was born, because even the Bible isn't quite in agreement with itself on the matter. We know he was born sometime between 6 BC and 280, but we also know for sure that he was not born December 25th. We know that because both Bible narratives that talk about the Nativity talk about shepherds outside with their sheep. And if the shepherds are outside with their sheep, then it definitely wasn't December. It was either spring or summer, when it would have been warm. So December 25th is obviously not his birthday. So why do we celebrate that as his birthday anyway? Well, it's actually because December 25th is the ancient Roman pagan holiday of Saturnalia, which is basically the celebration of the end of the winter solstice, the return of the sun. Winter was over, spring was going to come back eventually. So that's why eventually that holiday was taken and made into Christmas, because the Roman emperors who had then converted to Christianity wanted to convince the pagans to convert to Christianity just like they had. So to sweeten the deal, if you will, they decided to take these Roman holidays and turn them into Christian holidays as a way of making it easier. That's also why the Sabbath is no longer on the Saturday, but was on the Sunday, because that was the pagan way of doing it instead of the Jewish way of doing it. And it made conversion to Christianity a bit smoother for the pagans, who were the audience that the Christians at the time really wanted to attract. In fact, the day, Christmas Day, it wasn't even officially December 25th until the year 320 AD. So really, there's no way of knowing what day Jesus was born at that point, because there really aren't any records of it yet. All we know is that it couldn't have been December, because that disagrees with everything that the Bible had said about it. Also, Jesus never actually celebrated his own birthday. He was Jewish, and he lived in a time when Jewish people did everything that they could to differentiate themselves from the Roman pagan people who were their oppressors, and they were terrible and they were dictatorial. And the Romans celebrated their birthdays. We have letters that have survived from the Roman times that involve one person writing to another, "I hope you have a happy birthday. I hope this makes it in time for your birthday." They would wish each other birthday wishes, because they celebrated birthdays to mark themselves as different from the pagan Gentiles who were their oppressors. The Jewish people didn't celebrate their birthdays. So Jesus would have grown up not celebrating his birthday. However, it does talk about Jesus celebrating Hanukkah. And so it kind of would actually make more sense for Christians to be celebrating Hanukkah anyway, because that's what Jesus had done. He never actually celebrated his own birthday. Not only that, but there's actually no biblical command. There's no mandate that says you have to celebrate Christmas. That's hugely important to remember, because there are biblical mandates for the Passover, the Feast of Tabernacles, having the Sabbath on a Saturday, specifically Saturday. It does talk about the Sabbath being the Saturday and only Saturday. So those are all in the Bible. Celebrating Christmas is nowhere in there, apart from the nativity stories, which were simply meant to tell the history of an event. They weren't intended as a command to do something. So that's important to remember if you are a Christian and you're trying to insist that there's a precedent for celebrating Christmas, when really there's not, because, like I said, Christmas was not invented until 320. Before then, the only part of Jesus' life that was really celebrated was the death and resurrection, which is Easter, because that was the crux of the entire religion of Christianity. Also, a lot of people like to talk about how, oh, well, if the Puritans and the Pilgrims who founded America and founded it on a Christian foundation, if they could hear people saying Happy Holidays and not saying Merry Christmas, they would be horrified. That's not true. They hated Christmas. Puritans and Pilgrims hated Christmas, not simply because it was originally a pagan holiday, because it came from Saturnalia, but because it was Catholic. Catholics love Christmas. Puritans and Pilgrims hate Catholicism. Therefore, Puritans and Pilgrims hate Christmas. Absolutely hate it. Completely. It was banned in Massachusetts from 1659 to 1681. The first Christmas day among the Puritans, it was 1620. The Puritans spent Christmas Day of 1620 building the very first structure of their settlement, simply to further and further defame that day, because they hated it that much. That's why they specifically chose to work on that day, because they did not want it to be celebrated at all. In other parts, in other Plymouth, or places near Plymouth or in Plymouth, other Puritan and Pilgrim settlements, anybody who was caught singing a Christmas carol, anybody who was caught saying Merry Christmas, anybody who was making a reference to St. Nicholas or any other Christmas-related person or event, they would actually be fined 5 shillings because it was banned. So you would actually be punished for making a reference to it. Even the governor of Massachusetts, William Bradford, one of the more famous Puritans of his time, at one point when he and some of his Puritan men were going out, I think to gather some wood to build some more houses, and some people in his party said that it was against their conscience to work because it was Christmas and they wanted to observe Christmas. And he said, okay, fine, you can go back because you have weak consciences. That's really what he said. He thought that they were weak. So eventually they go back. When William Bradford and the other men return, they find them celebrating, with games and toys with their families. And so what William Bradford did was took away everything that they were using. They took away their games, the things that they were playing with to celebrate, and he sent them to their homes. Essentially, he grounded them to their houses and did not let them come out for the rest of the day as punishment for publicly celebrating Christmas. So no, Puritans and Pilgrims did not like Christmas. They hated it. It was one of their least favorite things of all time. Also, to say Merry Christmas, it actually does not work for all Christian denominations, because the word Christmas comes from Christ Mass, Mass of Christ. And a Mass is, a phrase, it's a process used during the liturgy in Catholicism, Orthodox Christianity, and in some cases Anglicanism and Lutheranism. So basically, to say Merry Christmas is to say that you are Catholic or Orthodox or Lutheran or Anglican, whereas the term holiday comes from holy day, and pretty much any day that is considered holy is a holy day. So the term Happy Holidays is actually more appropriate for the large number of Protestant denominations than Merry Christmas, because Merry Christmas only pertains to so many, whereas Happy Holidays could refer to anybody.